KL Publications presents Games We Play by Ryan C. Sanders. Bianca sat in her favorite coffee shop, watching the hustle of the city as the world moved around her. At 27, she was confident, stylish, and intelligent. A woman who knew exactly what she wanted. Or at least, that's what she told herself. She had built a life around control, following the rules of the game society had set for her. Beauty, charm, and calculated moves were all part of her strategy. Her goal was clear: to capture the perfect man, someone successful, strong, and charismatic who could elevate her life. But the deeper she played the game, the more she started questioning if she was losing herself in the process. Bianca had mastered the art of subtlety. Her Instagram was curated with just the right balance of candid moments and polished photos. She knew how to manipulate the rules of attraction, appearing interested yet detached, present but elusive. It was all creating an image, a game of expectation where she played the lead role of the untouchable prize. Her current target was Malik, a rising entrepreneur who frequented the same gym and social circles. Malik had that magnetic aura, someone who had everything figured out. He was ambitious, confident, and seemed to exude success in every conversation. Bianca knew that men like Malik weren't easy to catch. They were drawn to women who could match their energy while remaining just out of reach. So she played her part perfectly. But the deeper Bianca went into her pursuit of Malik, the more she noticed the subtleties of their interaction. Malik too was playing his own game, acting interested but never fully committing. He'd flirt with her just enough to keep her on her toes, but then pull back at the exact moment she thought she'd made progress. This back and forth created a tension that was thrilling, but Bianca began to sense that something wasn't quite right. One evening, after a perfectly orchestrated date that should have sealed the deal, Malik suddenly became distant. Bianca, confused, went over every detail in her mind. Had she been too forward? Not enough? It was all part of the strategy. Figure out what went wrong and adjust the plan. But no matter how much she analyzed the situation, the excitement of the game was beginning to wear thin. The following week, Bianca met up with her close friend Angela, someone who she had always admired for her genuine approach to life. Angela was different. She didn't play games, didn't manipulate her relationships, and yet seemed to have everything Bianca was striving for. Her relationship with her partner James was built on trust, respect, and authenticity. Angela's happiness didn't come from playing by society's rules, but from being true to herself. Over coffee, Angela noticed Bianca's frustration. "You've been distant lately," Angela said, her tone gentle but concerned. "What's going on?" Bianca sighed, finally opening up about her pursuit of Malik and how she felt like she was constantly strategizing. "I don't know anymore," she admitted. "It's like every time I think I've got it all figured out, the rules change. It's exhausting, and I'm not even sure if it's what I really want." Angela smiled knowingly. "That's because you're playing a game, Bianca. And in games like that, no one ever really wins. The moment you start trying to manipulate the outcome, you lose sight of what's real. You attract what you put out. And if you're not being authentic, you're going to attract people who aren't either." Bianca sat in silence, the weight of Angela's words sinking in. She had spent so much time crafting an image, playing by societal rules, and chasing an ideal that wasn't even based on what she truly wanted. But the thought of letting go of control, of being vulnerable and genuine, terrified her. That night, Bianca reflected on her patterns, the societal game she had been playing for years. She realized how deeply ingrained the rules were, how women were taught to withhold, to be elusive, to maintain a certain image of perfection. The constant push and pull, the mental gymnastics, it was all exhausting, and in the end, unfulfilling. Malik, like so many others before him, wasn't the problem. It was the game itself. The more Bianca thought about it, the more she understood that every relationship she had pursued was built on a facade, on what she thought she needed to project to attract someone. But now, all she could see were the masks she'd worn. It wasn't that she was incapable of love or connection. It was that she never approached it with honesty, not even with herself. Bianca remembered a book she read years ago, Games People Play by Eric Berne, which explored the unconscious games people engage in during social interactions. The games were complex, often driven by hidden insecurities and unmet emotional needs, and rarely led to true fulfillment. Berne's philosophy lingered in her mind. Games might provide short-term wins, but in the end, they only lead to emptiness and disconnection. Real relationships required vulnerability, openness, and authenticity, the very thing she had been avoiding. The next time Bianca saw Malik, something in her had shifted. Instead of calculating her moves, she approached him without an agenda, without a need to win. They had an honest conversation, and for the first time, Bianca wasn't thinking about the outcome. She wasn't trying to impress or manipulate. She was just herself. And as they talked, she realized that Malik too had been playing his own game. He had been projecting an image of success and confidence, but in reality, he was struggling with his own insecurities and uncertainties about life itself. In that moment, Bianca saw the truth. Everyone was playing a game in one form or another. But it wasn't necessary. The facade didn't have to be there. People could just be themselves and connect on a real level if they chose to. Bianca didn't need Malik or anyone else to validate her worth. What she needed was to be authentic, to live according to her own truth, not by society's rules. As their conversation came to an end, Bianca felt a sense of peace wash over her. Whether or not Malik remained in her life didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that she had to let go of the game. She had stopped chasing an illusion and found something far more valuable: herself. The lesson was clear. When you play games, you get played. But when you live with authenticity, you attract people who are genuine and who resonate with your true self. Bianca smiled as she left the coffee shop, knowing that her journey had just begun. Not a journey toward capturing someone, but toward living authentically and attracting the right people into her life naturally, without the need for games. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe.